Good morning, everyone. Uh, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're holding our summer top earner retreat. And in going over all of the information and looking at, in fact, let me bring it up. In preparing content for this training, let me just take a look on the chat. You know, I always tell you, all my students, that every retreat is different than the previous retreat. And we come down to the resource section. We have lessons by million-dollar earners, top earners in the business that are sharing their inner secrets and how to build a business. They're sharing what they did and what they know to build a business. And let me change screens again. So getting ready for this, what's going to be a life-changing weekend for everybody that attends. I was talking to our guest speaker, who is David Moses. And David Moses is recognized as one of the most dynamic business mentors, speakers, trainers, and success coaches in the direct sales and network marketing industry today. When I met him, he was the master distributor for Zegen. His career spans 2 decades as a multi-million-dollar senior corporate executive in network marketing and master distributor for several companies. His ability to coach success in network marketing, sponsor, teach others, and build large teams has been responsible for his success. It's made him his fortune and affords him a personal lifestyle with all the luxuries he desires. He lives every day with an abundance mentality, which is a secret foundation to his success. So we were going over what he was going to cover on Saturday. And this week, at the same time, I've also been talking to network marketing legends that are coming back after years to catch up and find out what's going on our Friday Ask Max, yesterday's 4 o'clock Ask Max session. I had a student come back. The last time we spoke was in 2018. And when we went back and looked at his LinkedIn profile, the changes that LinkedIn has made since 2018, unbelievable. Unbelievable. So as I was putting together the content for our retreat this weekend, it occurred to me that there's a whole dimension to building a network marketing business that I've omitted from all my trainings. And that is leadership. Leadership. All right. So you become great at team building. You're building an organization. In our 90-day game plan, we talk about how you build and grow a team. But I very, very lightly touch on leadership. What do you have to do to support your team? What is behind the success of the top leaders in this business? How did they get where they are today? And when you think about it, the answer to that question can be daunting. It could be intimidating. Some of you can be sitting there saying, how? Okay, so I recruit. Okay, so I'm building a business, but leadership. What do I know about leadership? As a leader, what do I do? How do I maintain a leadership role? And for that reason, I've already talked to two good friends. One, when we first got together years ago, before, just as AOL was beginning to emerge as the place to go, I sent Roger Boger my audio training series because I was getting the word out. I was working with a bunch of folks in NECANN, so I sent him my audio tape series. Well, Roger knew nothing about AOL, knew nothing about the internet. So he gave the tapes to his son-in-law, who was internet savvy, was on AOL. And his son-in-law put 12 people in the business in a week. Roger called me up and said, listen, we're having this big event in Scranton, Pennsylvania in 2 weeks. I know it's late notice, but can you come? Give a training. We did. And from that, I started doing trainings for NECANN leaders all around the country. Well, about 2 weeks ago, I got a call from Roger. A man that was making $150,000 a month. And he was doing it the old-fashioned way. One of the greatest leaders in his company. And so that got me thinking. And I know for those of you that are participating in the retreat, you are going to love what David is going to share with everybody. But at the same time, I'm going to add throughout the entire retreat all the information. We're going to be talking about leadership. Just like a lot of you are intimidated by the idea of being in sales, selling. Sometimes the concept that you're going to be a leader, or you have to be a leader to grow a business. And for some of you, you can be passive about it. But for those of you that really aspire to go to the top, when you bring people into your business, there are certain daily activities that you can do, that you need to do, certain things to support everybody in your organization, to stand out as a leader, even when you're just getting started. Okay? Been in the company for 3 months, been in the industry for 10 years. And you're going to be a leader in the company that you're in. It becomes part of your story. Part of your story. So it's going to change. I'm not going to do an in-depth training today because I've got a busy schedule today, and I'm going to be putting together information and material to benefit everybody. Our Wisdom Wednesday broadcast is at 9 o'clock when there's a big debate on. So I'm going to talk to my staff this morning. We're going to either move it back to tomorrow night, which will be the night before the retreat, or we're just not going to have it. But my inclination is going to be that we're going to do it tomorrow night. Okay. I'm not sure if we're going to have a 4 o'clock training today because there's a lot of preparation. Boot camp is finished. And last night we had our closing the sale boot camp. For those of you that are participating in boot camp, you know, you have the recorded sessions of last month's boot camp. And I look forward. I got to tell you something. I am really looking forward to sharing with you every example that we've given in previous retreats is going to take on a whole new flavor. We're going to add an extra layer of information that I think you're all going to love. For those of you that have been in a previous retreat, you know about my passion for sailing. And so when we think about leadership, even there, I mean, I've got a classic example. You don't become successful in network marketing without having the right tools, without having the right equipment. And so when I started to race my boat, you don't learn it all from a book. You have to go out and you have to sail. You have to get out there. And so I would invite some of the best sailors in Fort Lauderdale out on the boat. So I learned from them the best while we're actually engaged in racing. They told me what I needed equipment-wise. I went out and bought it. With one suggestion, somebody told me about a sailing computer that I purchased. It was like $900. And we're talking about years ago. But it was so incredible. It gave us information that we needed. And we were winning races just because of that little piece of equipment. Initially, when I had it, I didn't know how to use it. We had it installed. And then one day, a friend was on the boat during a race. He knew how to use it. And oh my God, it was amazing. So it's all about having the right equipment, knowing how to use it. It's all part of winning races. So after a while, you know, we were always out in front, okay? And when we were in one race, it was windy as hell. In fact, it was so windy and it was rough, a lot of waves. So we're heading for Mark. It's way, way out in the ocean. It was hard to see, hard to find. So 3/4 of the fleet were following me. I missed the mark. I must have sailed a half a mile out of the way. We couldn't find the mark, couldn't see it. Like I'm home and I spent $1,400 on a super pair of binoculars. I was not going to ever attend a race where I couldn't find the mark. So as we do things, we learn what we need. You don't have all the answers now. You're in an environment that's going to constantly change. And that's why a lot of my students keep coming back. So for those of you that are back and registered for the retreat, it's going to be an amazing weekend. An amazing weekend. And David is going to contribute a tremendous amount of understanding about this business. We talk about the 10 secrets that most network marketers don't know. One which is your company closes or your company gets absorbed by another company. David just went through it. He was the master distributor for Zildjian. Now he wakes up one morning, his whole company is absorbed by Zildjian, is absorbed by Isagenix. Whole company. For some people, it was a shock. Well, David is now the #1 distributor in his company in Canada. And he's continuing to grow. He's continuing to expand the story, how he's training his people to duplicate. All part of the process. Hey, David. I was just talking about you.
I tell you, I meant to go and get my bio right after we spoke, and I don't know where I got distracted. And
That's okay. That's okay.
anyways, but you picked out that's it.
Yep. In fact, I'm doing.
And in fact, I mean, you covered everything there. It's thank you.
Well, you're welcome. In fact, I'm doing a webinar right now, and I'm just talking about you because I'm going to be adding a whole new dimension to my training, which is leadership. Okay, because you can be a great recruiter, you can talk to people, you can build a business, but how do you build a team? How do you lead a group of people? And you are a classic example.
I would like to be your protege with respect to what you do, because I think over the next few years my time is coming to transition.
Yep.
Based on what I see in the industry, and I think that's probably what in terms of what I've got to offer is my 34 years on the field.
We can talk about that in a little bit, but we're both on the same page. I just talked to someone that was in NECANN years ago. He's making $150,000 a month, but he did it the old-fashioned way, and he's totally out of the water when it comes to social media. In fact, most of the leaders are in that circumstance, and so absolutely, we're gonna work together with this, and
I'm all in to do. Let's start with this weekend.
Yep.
Let's see how this goes. I'm gonna deliver whatever you need me to. And by the way, do you want me to promote this thing, or is it?
Well, it's an advanced training, and it's kind of closed. But what I might do is depending upon your schedule, we could do it maybe Sunday night where we could promote it to everybody.
Okay.
But the one that we're going to do on Saturday afternoon is a closed group of people that are keenly interested in rank advancing and moving to the top.
Let me make sure we're talking Saturday the 26th, this Saturday at 12 noon.
That's
correct?
Right. Yes, that's it.
Okay. I just want to
check. Yeah, I hear you.
I wrote it in my calendar correctly.
All right, I'll talk to you later. I gotta get back to my.
Okay.
Me too.
We'll speak later.
All right, bye-bye. I gotta tell you something. This is a great guy. Okay. Great guy. And his company was having I think it was 2017. And his company had Zildjian in 2017 absorbed 3 companies. They absorbed Zango, which had been around for a long time. Absorbed another company, Kivana, and another one, Emza Gold, that I wasn't familiar with. So the event was in Orlando. He came to Miami Beach 3 days before, we spent 2 days together. And then we drove up to Orlando together. What a great guy. Okay. And his passion for helping people, leadership, that's what it's all about. Some of you have heard the expression servant leadership. You're there for your people. And some of you might be thinking, well, man, I'm just getting started in this business. What do I know? I don't know enough about the business to be a leader. And the truth is, it's not true. Just like when you're talking to a someone that's anti-network marketing, it's got a negative attitude about it because of misinformation or bad experience. So you turn that person around. You open his eyes to the potential. You're going to change people's lives. And as you bring people into your business, some of them have more experience than you. Some of them have made a lot more money than you've made. But you have one thing that they need, which is information about your company. Information about the tools of the company. Information about what's going on. You have a list of objections, common objections that people have about the products. You know these things, and the people that you're bringing into the business don't. And so as you're growing your team, there's certain things that you could be doing on a weekly basis to ensure that everybody down the line from you knows about these things, has access to these things. People are going to ask you questions because they don't know the answers. And some of the questions they're going to ask, well, you don't know the answers either. So you're going to gather up those questions. You're going to learn the answers to those questions. And moving forward, every time somebody asks you that question, you're going to make it available to everybody. And if enough people ask the same question, then you're going to build it into your training for your team. My friend and student Francisco now has 500,000 people in his business. He is working harder than he's ever worked in his life, but he's making more money than he's ever made. And his activity is totally different. Now he's teaching, he's training, teaching about the company, teaching about giving these people the information that they need to be successful. And while we allude to a lot of these things in a 90-day game plan, we're not talking about leadership. We're talking about the actions to build a team, to grow the team. But if you're going to be a leader, that's a whole new ballgame. And yesterday, I was talking to a former coaching student who's coming back into the program. And that's one of the things, aside from the fact that it's been 5 years since he went through the material, but that's one of the things he wanted me to include in working together. This is a wonderful time in network marketing. August, celebrating 28 years in this business. And so moving forward for the rest of the year and into 2024, which is going to be a critical year for our business, critical. We're going to provide everybody with that extra layer of information that they need to become leaders. And let me just say this, because in the retreat, we talk about sailing. Everything that I needed to know to be one of the top racers in South Florida, I learned along the way. Every time we had a race, I'd come away, I'd learn something. And as you're building your business, every day you're going to learn new things. Everything that you learn, you add another layer of your knowledge to being a leader. But you have one advantage, and it's huge. over all the other leaders in your company. And that is, you know how to do it on social networks. You know how to do it on LinkedIn. You know how to do it on Facebook. Old school versus new school. It's huge. And me, I'm excited to play a small role in your development. And it's, for some of you, it's a significant role, but in the overall picture, it's going to be up to you to take this information, put it to work. It's up to you. When Joanne called in 2 weeks ago to talk about how great she's doing in the business, she's so excited about having the option, the ability to literally reach and talk to people that under no circumstances would she ever have access to these people. She gets, when we first started coaching, she'd get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. She was so excited. Can't wait to get on the computer to see who's there. Well, 3 times the amount of people that were jumping on LinkedIn today. There's 3 times more people than back when we started working together. The whole new world, everything is changing. And for those of you that are serious about the business, then stay in my boot camps. Jump on these free trainings. And if you can afford it, jump into my coaching program. Whatever it takes to get this information and then put it to use, put it into practice. Because that's what it's all about. There is nothing, absolutely nothing to prevent you from going all the way to the top of your business. And to do that, well, you know, you could bring a bunch of whales in and just kind of sit back and let them do their thing, and you can grow your business that way. But even then, you need to play an active role in training these people. You don't have to train them on how to do the business. You just have to train them on the tools that are available, the answers that people need to the average questions that are going to happen. You're all on your way. So keep your eye on a mail. And not sure we're going to have an Ask Max session today at 4. We're definitely not going to have our Wednesday night broadcast. So look for an email. We may do it Thursday night. All right. So until next time. Best of luck in building your business. If you haven't registered for the retreat yet, there's still time. I've left the door open to do that.